Welcome to my workshop. In this video I'm going to unpack and set up my table saw a second time. Why a second unpacking? When I had worked with my first GTS 10XC, I had realized that the fence had some slackness and that it wasn't completely accurate. So I contacted Bosch support and was told to send in the saw for repair. At first the service was great. They even sent me a cardboard box because I had thrown away mine, and so I could pack up my saw and have it picked up and sent to them. I got back the saw very quickly after a couple of days. The problem was it hadn't been repaired. The fence still was in the same shape as it had been before, and on top of that the saw had caused some transport damage, so I didn't want to keep it in that state. So I sent it back in, and this time I got back the saw in a very sorry state. There were some loose screws, some screws were completely missing, and the adjustment mechanism for the angle of the blade was a complete mess. It wasn't even functional in a proper way. You couldn't cut 90-degree angles, so it was unacceptable to keep it in that way. My contact at Bosch support was very thorough though, so she tried her best to have the saw taken back a third time, and she had a complete replacement sent to me, which is now in my hands. So it seems everything works fine. I checked the machine for most aspects that I had checked before, and this time it seems to be in very good shape. So in this video I'm going to show you how I check those aspects for accuracy so that you know what to look for. First I checked with the old saw if the grooves on the table are parallel to the blade. You best do that using a combination square, as you can see one in the video, and you put the square flush against the groove, and then you move the movable part of the square up against one tooth. You push it very gently against that tooth, don't push too hard, and then you mark that tooth with a pencil and turn the blade so that this exact tooth is at the rear end of the table. And after locking the square, you push it to the rear end of the table, and then of course it should be this exact same distance to that tooth as it was before. I then check the fence for slackness. I push it from side to side at the front end where you have the scale. And at first it seemed okay, but then when I push it a little more from side to side, you can see it now, and I lock it, then you can see that the gap between the fence and the groove is not parallel. I have to push it to the side like this to make it parallel to the groove. And since the groove is parallel to the blade, that means the fence wasn't parallel to the blade before. So I got a new machine and set it up with the help of my daughter. I did the usual tests and adjustments that you can see in the first video, which I'm linking to here and in the description. I checked that again with the new saw then. Up with the combination square up to one tooth, then lock the combination square, mark the tooth, check at the rear end, all is fine. I checked with the fence again with the new machine. It still had a bit of slackness to it. I did some tests, moved it from side to side. The slackness seems a bit of a construction weakness that the saw has, but with the new fence and the new machine it was much less than before, and I find it absolutely acceptable. The crosscut sledge should also be checked for slackness. You insert that piece. This crosscut piece has a little slackness inside that groove. Here I check the preset angles that you can adjust there. And then I finished assembling it. And I found that with the new saw, that sled was easily movable to the front and back without having too much slackness, and it also had less slackness than the old sled had in the old machine. So it seems I have a reliable machine now which works fine, and I'm very happy about that. I can't wait to do all the projects that have been on hold while my saw was traveling, so see you soon.